Healing the subconscious beliefs and mindset around the illness is actually often harder than healing the illness itself. In order to heal, we have to transcend the consciousness of the illness. We have to look at the real reason why we are staying sick.
Welcome to Divine Alignment. I'm your host, Jasmine. I'm a holistic nutritionist, energy healer, and hypnotherapist. I help you awaken your inner healer through holistic health and nutrition, along with expanding your consciousness. Through raising the vibration of your health and thoughts, I want you to have divine alignment in your mind, body, and soul. Hello, beautiful souls. I am so happy you're here, and I wanted to wish you all a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and really just truly from the bottom of my heart, just express so much gratitude. Whether this is your first time tuning in or you've listened to all of my episodes, I am just so grateful you're here, and I'm really grateful that you are interested in just taking your health into your own hands, your healing, and really your life. Because really, when we heal ourselves, this is how we create the healing and change that we want to see in the world. I'm so grateful for you, and I think Thanksgiving is such a great opportunity to express gratitude, although I'm a firm believer that we should be expressing gratitude and just living in gratitude daily, but I really just wanted to take this day in particular to wish you all an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you're doing something really fun with your family, friends, whatever it be, eating lots of yummy and delicious food, and most importantly, just being present, enjoying the moment, the time, because, at the end of the day, it's, yes, the food, what we eat is important, but our mindset around it all and just enjoying and being present is going to be what really counts and what really matters. So again, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for all of your love and your support. It truly means so much to me, and I think that you guys are going to get a lot out of this episode. This episode is by far one of the most important episodes as far as how do we truly heal. So I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one, and I really believe that this will change your life. So without further ado, let's go to the show.
Hello, beautiful souls. I am so excited for today's episode because I truly believe that if you listen to this episode, this could change your life. This will change your life. And that is because I am going to be talking about today why we aren't healing. And this is so big because you are not going to learn this at your doctor or in our traditional paradigm of medicine. This is not being talked about. And this is the key to truly healing. And so I want to first, I'm going to just talk briefly about modern medicine, and then I'm going to really dive into the subconscious beliefs that we actually need to heal. So to begin, why we aren't healing, I feel like I want to spend the majority of this episode talking about the mindset and subconscious beliefs that will change your life to know. But I can't really dive into those without first prefacing just the way in which our current paradigm of medicine is being practiced. And it is not conducive to health and healing. And I have to begin with this because so many Americans nowadays, and I think actually worldwide now, are being prescribed medications. This isn't happening everywhere in the world. I think it's definitely concentrated in the US, is this, using prescription medication to, quote, cure or solve our health problems. How often do we hear, well, once you're on this medication or prescription, then you need another prescription to mitigate the side effects of the other one? This is because these medications are foreign objects to our body. Our body does not recognize these chemicals and substances. And the really unfortunate thing about pharmaceuticals and prescription medications is that they aren't curing the problem. They aren't getting to the root cause of why our body developed it in the first place. Why did our body create diabetes or create cancer or create hypertension? All of these things are just a cascade of something that started earlier on. By simply taking this prescription, most of them just block. So for example, going back to my own story, I was dealing with these health issues for a while that I had a ton of pain, and I was prescribed or recommended that I needed this, I don't even remember the name of it now, but this, basically it was an anti-anxiety medication in order to help my pain. And I said to them, I said, well, wouldn't this just be blocking the receptors that send the pain? And they said, yes, because then you won't experience the pain. To me, in that moment, something completely clicked because I like put two and two together. All of these medications are really blocking our body from telling us the messages we're supposed to be hearing. And I think that this is so, so important because so many of us are just shutting off our body's responses and our body just communicating to us. So our body is sending us messages, and it may be in the form of pain. It may be in the form of anxiety. It may be in the form of depression. It may be in the form of cancer. These are just messages from the body. And when we block off and shut off these messages, the body will continue to find other ways to send us messages. And so this is why we see cancer becoming so rampant these days, because cancer is so many people get so scared about cancer, but really cancer is just the body trying to communicate to us, trying to tell us, please pay attention. This is what's going on. The more that we shut down and block off these receptors and block off these processes and pathways happening in the body is just trying to communicate to us. And the more we can just listen, slow down, and tune in, the more we can see that our body is really just trying to help us. It's not at war with us. It's not against us. It just is trying to help us heal. And really, for the example of cancer, cancer is just our body trying to send a ton of things to try and help and cure it. So it's attacking itself basically because it's been working to attack all of these little things. And because we didn't tend to those, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And thus we see cancer. That is, the more scientific left brain approach to healing that I wanted to just preface with and begin with. Now I would like to dive into the healing underneath the healing, so to speak, because this is so, so, so important. And in order to heal, we have to look at the purpose for the pain. So, said another way, we have to look at how our illness is actually benefiting us. Now, I know this sounds like a crazy concept if you've never heard this before. And I know the very first time that I heard it, I was like, what are you talking about? How on earth would my eczema or my anxiety be serving me? And I'm going to go a little bit deeper so that I can really bring this into the light so that you guys can see just how so many of us are actually playing. What we do as human beings is we play out these stories and these emotions that we experience as little children, and they get transferred throughout our whole life if we don't get to the root cause of them. And so healing the subconscious beliefs and mindset around the illness is actually often harder than healing the illness itself. In order to heal, we have to transcend the consciousness of the illness. And this is not an easy thing to do. Another thing is we also stay sick because our pain is serving us in some way. Like I mentioned, that we have to look at the real reason why we are staying sick. Honestly, if our pain was not serving us in some way, we would go to the doctor, we would go to our naturopath, our chiropractor, our acupuncturist, and we would be open and receive the healing. And it really can be that simple. But unfortunately, we have all of these mindset, subconscious beliefs in the way that are keeping us at the consciousness of the illness. First of all, many of us do not heal or truly find healing because we have become identified with our illness. I see this so often with my clients struggling with chronic illness or autoimmune conditions, is that they become their illness. Their illness, their disease, their autoimmune condition has now become their identity. And when something becomes our identity, healing is then very foreign. And healing is actually scary to the brain because our brain is not looking to, it likes what's familiar. And so if sickness and illness is familiar, it will cling to that. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's why think of people who stay in relationships that aren't serving them, or who, we do these things not because it's in our best interest, it's because it's familiar. And our brain loves familiarity. If we are able to stay in what's familiar, the brain doesn't have to work as hard, and that's what's easy. If we heal, and we've dealt with this for 5, 10, 15, 30 years, who would we be without this illness? What would our relationships be? How would our friendships be? How would our partner see us? All of these things are things that we have to look at and we have to be aware of in our healing. And for so many of us, we have our whole lives have become structured and melded to our illness, which brings me to this next point of pain having privilege. It's this especially here in the US, pain has privileges, whether it's from the government, from all of these ways in which we are supported if we are ill. I will never forget during one of my clients in a session, she said, well, if I get well, then the government won't pay for my rent or my food. I won't have food stamps. And so it's this very strange thing that if we get better, then all of a sudden we have to support ourselves. We have to step up. We have to take again on a new identity. Once again, going back to those neural pathways, this is new for the brain. The brain does not like these new challenges and these new obstacles. These are really seen as obstacles. And so the brain is like, no, this is safe. This is familiar. I'm being supported. When we are being privileged for being ill, healing can actually be seen as a threat to the body and to the brain. So another example I want to bring up is a client that I had who was a child of 6. So she had 5 other siblings. She wasn't the oldest, she wasn't the youngest, and she found that it was so hard to get attention from her mom. little girls really need attention from their mom at those formative years. They need attention from both, but especially from the parent of the same sex. So she saw her mom, trying to divide her attention between all of her brothers and sisters. And when we went back and did a hypnotherapy session and we went back and saw her as a child, she was able to see that her sickness that she now has at 32 years old and has struggled with her whole life as this autoimmune condition, thyroid conditions, Hashimoto's, all of these things actually stemmed as a result of her trying to get attention from her mom. And so at a very young age, she took on this identity as the sick one. And by being sick, all of a sudden her mom and her family and her brothers and sisters began to pay attention to her. All of a sudden, she was getting rewarded for her sickness. And when she was well, she wasn't getting the attention of her mom. She wasn't getting that attention that all little kids, all they really need is just love and attention. When things threaten that, or when we don't get the attention that we desire, the mind will create problems in order to get this attention. She created this Hashimoto's, this thyroid problem, as a way of speaking up, as a way of being sick. I mean, it started when she was younger as just like fatigue and not feeling well, and later on, and gut issues, and then later on turned into Hashimoto's. She saw from a very young age that she was almost rewarded for being sick because she got attention from her mom and from her siblings. And so you can start to see how these small and seemingly insignificant things from our childhood actually can lead to us being unwell for the rest of our lives. Another way is that I see this especially in our society nowadays, is that we are so disconnected, so everything is so virtual and everything is on social media and online, that we are just lacking communication. We are lacking intimacy and love and presence. And I really think that there's this direct correlation between things becoming so virtual and the rise in illness. Because when we are ill, it gives us an excuse to go to our chiropractor or go to our doctor or go to our naturopath or go to whoever it is, because then we feel seen. And when we feel seen, this creates a sense of belonging, of being, of intimacy, of connection, of love. And we need this as human beings. This is a primal need. And so once again, you can see how it's this reinforcement of, well, if I were to get better, then who would acknowledge me? Who would help me feel seen? Who would connect with me? And so by healing, we wouldn't have this outlet, this connection, this person to talk to, this person to listen to us. Identifying this, and just as I continue on through these, I just want you, my goal in all of this is not to be the Debbie Downer and say like that if we don't heal all of these, we will stay sick forever. But it's just to become aware of all of these things, because awareness is truly, truly, truly half of the healing, if not the majority. Oftentimes when we shine light at the darkness, there cannot be darkness anymore. And so just becoming aware of this is part of your healing. And so just know this. And so when these things begin to resonate for you or spark a light, or, you begin to think, oh my gosh, maybe this isn't why I'm healing. This is my struggle. Just become aware of it and just begin to sit with that and meditate on it, journal on it, and see that just bringing your awareness to it is beginning to heal it. But I just wanted to add that in because I know that I don't want it to seem like if you don't heal all of these, you will not get better. It's bringing awareness to it is part of the healing. Another thing is that we have to take responsibility for our healing. And this may be a tough pill to swallow for some of us. I know for the majority of us, this is going to be part of our healing. Until we take responsibility for why we are where we are at, we cannot heal. We have to realize that even though we may be suffering because of someone else, you guys, like, I get it. There are awful things. I have, in my sessions with people, I have heard some of the worst, most tragic stories. I truly cannot believe the depths of the awful things that happen in our world today. It really hurts my heart. But unfortunately, the longer that we stay resentful and mad and blaming other people for our state of being unwell, the more we will continue to be unwell, the more we will keep ourselves in this prison. We so often believe that by staying mad at people, we are punishing them, but we are actually punishing ourselves. And so even though people commit awful acts, even though people wrong us, hurt us, and I'm not saying that what they do is okay, but what I am saying is that in order to truly heal, we have to release them. We have to forgive them. We have to realize that hurt people. And even if what they did was not okay, we have to energetically disconnect them from us, because their energy will continue to keep us unwell. It will continue to keep us being unwell. And so we have to take responsibility for our well-being, for ourselves, and set them free, because we are not punishing them by staying mad at them. We're not punishing them by holding resentment against them. We're not punishing them by talking about them, by revisiting how they hurt us. We are not punishing them. The truth of the matter is that whoever hurt you in the first place most likely needs help themselves. Okay, and so once we can take full responsibility for our healing and realize that at the end of the day, it is just up to us to take responsibility for our healing. We deserve healing. We deserve healing no matter what we've been through. No matter who's hurt us, who's wronged us, we deserve healing. You know, a doctor can give you the pills and supplements and protocols, but until we decide that we deserve this healing, we will not heal. The protocols will not work. The supplements may not work. We have to decide that we are worthy and deserving of our healing. And making this decision can make all of the difference in the world. Which leads me to my next point on deserving. You know, it's this a funny thing as human beings. We truly, the more I've studied this and witnessed, become aware of this, the more I've seen how as human beings, we believe that we need to suffer in order to receive pleasure. We think that we need to work really, really hard in order to deserve a vacation. Or we have to have a really awful day at work in order to drink a glass of wine. Because once we have a really bad day, we deserve that wine. Or we have to work, once we work out really hard, we deserve that cookie. What if we just deserved it just because we were a human being? Just because it was our birthright to deserve what makes us feel good. If we can make this shift into being deserving just for being alive, this alone can truly transform your life. Because I'm telling you right now, you deserve love, you deserve health, you deserve healing, you deserve abundance. You deserve all of these things that are our birthright. You do not have to work so hard. You do not have to suffer. You deserve all of this just because you are alive. And so you don't have to work 60 hours or 80 hours or even 10 hours a week in order to deserve a vacation. And it's this weird thing in conversations how we often say, well, I think I deserve this after I've done this, or I deserve this vacation. I deserve this massage. We think as human beings that if we can justify our deservingness, then it will make it okay. And that all of a sudden, then we can enjoy it. Then we can embrace whatever this massage or vacation or whatever it is, or drink or cookie. The reality is that you deserve it just because you are alive. Similarly, we also think that I see so often that if we have pleasure, there has to be pain associated with it. It's like this balancing scale that we think that there has to be a certain amount of a bad on one hand and a certain amount of good on the other hand. And so that's why we see so often this pattern play out of people. This definitely was a pattern for me for a really long time, where I would have a really good day and it would always be followed by a bad day. And it was because I had primed myself. I had told myself that, well, it won't last. It can't last. Because I experienced good, I then have to experience bad. This isn't the case. And we can shift this. We can change this. We have so much more control and power than you could ever realize. Like I said earlier, really just becoming aware of some of these things will begin to shift them in your life. Many of us have to realize that it's oftentimes the child within us that is just crying out for healing. And so I want you to think for a second. I have a question for you. I want you to bring to mind a child in your life that you know. Maybe it's your own child. Maybe it's a child that you've witnessed, that you've in your family, that you've seen before. Just bring to mind a small child. And as you bring this child to mind, I want you to ask the question, is this child deserving of healing? Now, this seems like a crazy question. And I'm sure that the first thing that came to your mind is, of course. This little child is so innocent and so deserving of healing. And so why wouldn't we be? Why wouldn't we have the same deservingness as this little child? Because at our core, all we really are small children. Looking for love, looking for acceptance. And even though our bodies grow, we still at the core need love and acceptance. And if we didn't receive love and acceptance and to the fullest when we were younger, which, side note, most of us do not receive all of the love and acceptance that we are truly desiring. We are going to go through negative things throughout our life, and that is part of the human experience. And our parents are only human beings as well. They can only do their best. We cannot hold them accountable for the rest of our lives for our suffering. And so if we experience any of these feelings of lack of love or not feeling supported in a certain situation, we can then go our whole lives trying to feel validated, feel loved, seek this love. If we can tune into the little child within us and see what that little child needs. And this is something that I do in almost every single one of my sessions with my clients, is reparenting, because many of us need to heal that little part of us. What many people don't realize is the best parent that there ever could be is actually ourselves. Because no one truly will ever know what we need like we do. And so when we can become the loving parent to ourselves, our lives can radically shift and radically change. And when we can when we can pour love into the little girl or the little boy within us, we begin to heal. This last point that I want to bring up, and this is the hard one, and I briefly touched on this earlier, but this is this idea of forgiveness. Forgiveness is hard, and I get that, and especially if someone has wronged you or hurt you. But another thing that I want to bring up is not only forgiving people who have done us wrong, realizing that hurt people. The irony is that it's oftentimes easier to forgive someone who's really hurt us than it is to forgive ourselves. And I am just here to tell you that you are worthy of forgiveness, no matter what you've done. You are a human being, and as human beings, we make mistakes. And I know that within my own healing journey, I was able to forgive so many people who I truly believe led to why I suffered. And the hardest person to forgive was myself. I would continue to beat myself up for the wrong that I did. I'm sure just hearing that, we think, how could you continue to beat yourself up for something that you did? Like, you deserve forgiveness. And so that's the same type of grace that we need to have on ourselves. We mess up. If we can give ourselves the understanding and love that we all make mistakes, and that we're all just doing the best we can with what we have in our current circumstances. I understand and I get sometimes the wound is so deep and so terrible, and whoever hurt us is at fault. But we will never heal until we forgive whoever gave us this wound, even if it's ourselves. And so when we can send out this love and forgiveness, we release this energy. We release this darkness. Whenever I work with my clients, I love seeing this release. It's even noticeable. I'm even able to see it oftentimes. Is the energy lift from these people who have been carrying this for so long. And this is often so tied into chronic illnesses, anxiety, depression. All of these things oftentimes stem from a lack of forgiveness. And so I truly believe that if we can forgive, we can send ourselves love, we can begin to shift our identity as being one of whole and complete, just the way we are, no matter where we're at in our lives. And if we can love the child within us and believe that we are so deserving of healing, no matter what we've done or someone else has done to us, I believe that you will find healing. I would like to leave you with this opportunity to begin to rewire your subconscious beliefs into being deserving of this new identity, into being so deserving of being vibrant and healthy, creating all that it is that you want in the world. That it's okay if you don't achieve everything that you're looking to achieve all at once. And that it's okay to have grace and understanding and compassion for yourself for exactly where you're at right now. And so I just want you all to begin to look at what is coming up for you, what resonated with you. And I believe that one of the best things you can do is just to go and begin to journal. Begin to meditate, begin to reflect on why you believe that this has come up for you. And I always encourage people to seek support, seek additional forms of releasing this in a way that you will not find from your traditional doctor. And then these therapies and these supplements and these whatever you choose to do for your healing, then all of a sudden they have the breeding ground for healing. They have the environment to flourish. They have the environment to truly work, because so many of us are like planting seeds in dead dirt. It's like we can take supplements And if we don't believe they're going to work, or if we don't believe we deserve to heal, they will not work. We have to shift our beliefs and our subconscious, deep-rooted subconscious beliefs. And as I said to you, you're already beginning to do that right now by just shining a light, by just becoming aware of them. And so if any of these resonated with you, let me know. Tag me on Instagram at I am Jasmine Elise, or send me a message. I would love to hear from you and hear which one of these resonated with you and how you believe that these may be keeping you stuck. And so until next time, I am sending you all infinite love and light. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, share it with a friend. It really is together that we grow. Also, please head on over to iTunes and leave me a review. I would be so grateful. And lastly, take a screenshot, let me know you're listening, and tag me on Instagram stories at I am Jasmine Elise. And until next time, I'm sending you infinite love and light.